Welcome to the Sunday Draft. This is your weekly podcast. This is our second episode, and we're happy you're joining us here. Thank you again. Today, the topic really is about something very complex, right? And that's the word I think, Kanti, you used. About a guy named Deepak Akki Kumar, who lives in India. He's about, I think he's about 30, some odd years, 30 plus, right? He's got a wife and daughter. His dad passed away about 15 years ago. He lives in this place called Uttarakhand, which is in North India. And he owns a gym, Hulk Gym, it's what it's called. And this guy looks like a Hulk. So he's a
He
big guy.
does.
So he does fitness training, personal training, and then it also says CrossFit, like small board. And he's had this gym for about 15 years. So he's a business owner, and I want to say he had about 150 members. And so this was his breadwinning business. His mom didn't work until some recent incident where his mom had to actually start selling tea on the roadside in this small town. And she used to do that a long time ago. And once her son started doing this business, she didn't have to. He's very attached to his mom. I mean, and that's something that I wanted to call out. Very humble guy from the looks of it, so attached to his family and a small business owner um, in that place, Kodwar.
Quote the war, yeah.
So Deepak Kumar is his real name. He's a Hindu, but nationally as well as the world now knows him as Muhammad Deepak, and that's where the story lies. So Kanti, why did he call himself Muhammad Deepak?
So it all started with a small dispute in this small place called Kotdwar in Uttarakhand state. So there is a shop there. It's a school uniform shop owned by Muslims, and the name of the shop was Baba School Dress and Matching Center. Now, if you look at the pictures of the shop kind of signboard, you will see that Baba is written in the big letters and then school dress and matching center
Hmm.
below it in smaller font size. Now, what happened is members of the Bajrang Dal, which is basically Hindu right-wing organization, they came and asked the owner of the shop to change the shop name because their objection was that you can't use Baba as in your shop name because you are a Muslim, as the word Baba actually refers to Sri Sidwali Baba, which is a local kind of deity. It's a famous,
A Hindu
uh,
deity, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's a very well-known kind of deity in the region, in the local locality there.
yeah,
Now, uh, it's a little bit interesting that they object on this particular name Baba because Baba is a very common term also in Indian culture. Is that somebody who is elder can be called Baba because of, in respect, and normally grandfathers are called Baba also, or
yeah.
somebody who is like a saintly person, he can be called Baba. He could belong to Hindu religion or Muslim religion, doesn't matter. They could be called Baba. So it's
Yeah,
very interesting that they objected to this particular use of Baba in the shop name. Now, Deepak
yeah,
Kumar, who happened to be around that place when this kind of conversation was going on between the shop owner and these guys from Bajrang Dal, he intervened and said that you don't have any right to decide whether he wants to name the shop in a particular way. Baba is not an exclusively Hindu name. Now he somehow seems to be kind of basically challenging them that okay, I'm probably the Bajrang Dal people were assuming that he is a Muslim because he also has a appearance of being a Muslim, like long beard and things like that. So they were
hmm,
probably assuming that he was defending the shop owner because he's a Muslim. But when he said Muhammad Deepak, they got a little bit kind of stunned in the sense that they didn't know how to respond. But
hmm.
his kind of impromptu reply to them, their question that I am Muhammad Deepak, basically indicated that he was willing to take the risk of basically saying that okay, I am Hindu, but If you are challenging this sub owner because he is Muslim, then I am willing to be on his side. And his way of saying, okay, you can't do this because this is not uh, done.
Hmm.
So this is how his name Muhammad Deepak has become popular, and this went viral, and then it became a big talking point
Yeah.
nationally, actually, not only locally. Kotdwar has a kind of a not large population, but quite a number of Muslims actually who also come from nearby uh, cities and do business there. They work there as various skilled laborers and tailors and other shopkeepers and things like that. So it's nothing unusual. That's quite a good kind of number of Muslims around there. So
But
and
majority Hindu? Is it majority
yeah,
Hindu?
majority Hindu. Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Muslim population is relatively very small in Uttarakhand. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the things I heard about this was that this was not the first of the incidents where they are protecting the rights of non-Hindu, um, um, maybe shop owners or
Yeah.
people. I
Okay.
don't know.
He's known to be close to the Congress party, which
Who
is
is Deepak?
Deepak Kumar. Yeah.
Deepak Kumar is known, so
So
he's affiliated to Congress Party. Okay, okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
So he's affiliated to Congress party, whereas these people were from
Yeah.
the
So there's
BJP.
also a political ideology difference
It's
in both
ideological. So yeah.
the people on the Bajrang Dal side as well as Mohammed Deepak and his friend. And, and then, so that was January 26th. But then the bigger issue, I think on
Yeah.
January 31st or 30th.
31st. Yeah.
Okay. And so that was more of a altercation, right?
So on
Altercations.
31st, what happened is that a crowd of about 150 to 100 people actually gathered outside Deepak's gym, and they were basically trying to be a little bit more inciting, kind of willing to be violent. I mean, for a place like Kotdwar, having 200 people and for a particular side is very unusual because and the
Mm.
reports say that they were not local people. They came from nearby other cities.
Mm.
So they were kind of mobilized by the Bajrang Dal people. The police had to intervene, and there was a
Mm.
little bit naturally because of the crowd and all that. There was a little bit of push and so, as you
Yeah.
say.
And we can see it from
And
the reels. We can see it from the
yeah,
reels, the little bit of it, somebody took it.
yeah.
Um, but not
So
not very clear. But
yeah. So it happened, and after that, also, although the police dispersed the crowd and all that, so after that, he started receiving more threats online, and of course, the event itself was very threatening to his family, himself, and his business because a lot of his patrons basically dropped out. So he has
yeah.
almost his business is almost closed after that. But more than that, the following this incident, three uh, cases filed. Yeah,
Bajrang Dal against Deepak Kumar. There's
yeah.
one case filed. Then the shop owner you said filed against Bajrang Dal. And then who else
And the
filed?
third one is Deepak Kumar himself filed a case saying that
Bajrang Dal.
people were, yeah, that
Okay, wow.
this
Okay.
people not
Deepak
being
actually
named.
mentioned all their names in his report, though, right?
Yeah,
Because I was reviewing it, and so he did mention all the people he knew.
the
And
people who, yeah,
here's the other thing, he knew most of them. So it's a small community. It sounds like it's a small
it,
Kortuar is a more it's a smaller community.
it
So
is a small
he,
place. Yeah,
yeah,
it's a very small, not a hill town, but it's a town in the kind of mountains. So
yeah. I just want to pause here. Right? Like, we are not trying to pick sides. Obviously, this is a political issue, and especially with issues such as this, especially in North India, I think it's very sensitive, right? There are political affiliations here, right? I didn't know Deepak Kumar was part of the Congress party or affiliated to the Congress party until you said it. It wasn't evident in any of the reporting that I had seen. We know for sure the other is in a Hindu right wing activist group. We know we've heard about that, but so there are political differences, and when politics is in play, um, it's hard to really know what motivates.
Mhm.
people. So I don't want to pick a side and say this. What I felt really affected by when you mentioned this story is the fact that the name Baba is the issue. Baba is not something that at least I would automatically associate with Hindu religion.
We have lots of kind of places where Peer Babas are called. They are called Peer Babas, who
Hmm.
usually are the Muslims. Kind of, you could say, kind of they
Pir
are
Baba.
like,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
they are like Muslim saints. So the
Yeah.
Baba name is not very specific to Hindus. Baba is a term that is also used for kids. So it's
Okay.
not nothing unusual to name a sort of school children's school uniform sir.
So this is a nationwide issue. It's just that it's very prevalent in the news in North India, especially some of these
Yeah,
states, where this is out and out in the open, and in a way they want us to pick sides, which is the sad
yeah.
part, right? Um,
It's also happening because mm, states like UP and Uttarakhand, where the BJP is in power, we are seeing a pattern of basically divisiveness around
yeah.
various issues of community and caste and religion.
Before we move into Uttarakhand and what's happening there, what is the consequence of this now with to Deepak Kumar? Um, I don't want to call him Mohammed Deepak because that's not his name, but he proved a point with that, which I think is gutsy of him to do that
Mhm.
in that environment. Again, it's a small town. He might know most people. He might have previous issues with this group. It might be an ongoing battle um, where he found the opportunity to support this. And I think genuinely just listening to his videos and his interviews, like I said in the beginning, he's a very humble guy from humble beginnings. His family is priority for him. For him to stand up again, the Hulk that he is, I think a lot of that puts him as the right person to fight for this. But if you're alone in this fight, or if you're
Mm.
against a Bajrang Dal or a activist group, or even the state itself, it's a losing battle.
There are yeah, there are
Um,
consequences, and we can see that. The first real life consequence for him has been that he has lost a lot of his clientele, the members of the gym.
mm.
So he basically had to go for a crowdfunding kind of campaign to get people to sign up.
Again, running
Yeah.
a gym with 150 members is again just bare minimum. I mean,
Mm.
it's a lot of work for. So 150 is not going to cut it, but maybe that was enough for him. Maybe he lives a very simple life, right? Um, but it went down to like 30 or 15 or something. Like it
Yeah.
drastically 15, I think,
Yeah. 15.
because people were afraid to go to the Hulk gym.
Yeah.
There was police presence outside. Oh, there might be still police presence
Mm.
outside of the gym. So it kind of pretty much cut out. People were afraid to go into the gym, to not to be part of this political issue that it has become. So he's just basically running an empty gym right now, maybe just with
Hmm.
a few people. So people started. What I read was that people started
They
donating,
donate. Yes.
not
No,
only just
you are
local.
right. People started kind of donating and
Yeah,
offering
yeah,
financial help, and that's when he said that you could buy membership and give transfer
yeah.
it to somebody else. And he went to the court, to the High Court, uh, requesting police protection because he was receiving threats, and he perceived that he is at risk, life risk from these people. Uh, so for interestingly, the court refused that kind of request and said that you are an accused person as well. So how can
Mm,
you seek protection? Uh, s- Legal experts have actually kind of different views on this. Some people say that when you are an accused, you cannot go and seek protection from the same state who is basically accusing you of criminal activity, let's say.
mm,
And on the other side, there are experts who are saying that even if you are an accused, until you are proven guilty, you have the rights to kind of
mm.
protection to life. and that
Hmm.
cannot be denied to you. So it's kind of a legal conundrum, but uh, we'll have to see how it where it goes. But so
Yeah.
he has to kind of battle it out, and obviously in the courts. So
Yeah.
that's the real consequence and a long-term consequence for him personally.
Yeah. I,
Of
I
course.
I just want to add the case against him is, according to the court documents, it's voluntarily causing hurt. Okay, that is the case against him.
Mhm.
Alleged physical assault or injury. So he has voluntarily caused hurt. Uh, they've charged him with rioting, right? Alleged participation in an unlawful violent crowd, criminal intimidation, alleged threats or intimidation. So he's been charged of intimidation, and breach of peace. He's been charged of um, conduct, basically, to disturb the public order. So that's what the court is saying against him.
The High Court has refused his request for protection, saying that you can't ask for protection when you are an accused. Now, you can take different positions on this. As I said, the legal experts have divergent views. But eventually, what he has to now deal with is this court process, and we'll have to see how it goes and whether he uh, manages to kind of get relief from the court eventually at a higher level or something like that.
Yeah.
But the real issue is that you are left with something to kind of kind of deal with for years to come, because you never know how long it's going to take.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are political, and even the leader of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi, has sided with him. There was a very prominent politician in Kerala, who has sided with him. Um, but I see those moves as political agendas in a way, right? If they could do something about this, why wait for this issue? So they are riding on people like um, Deepak and the shop owner and people like that to prove a point, because it gives them that political ammunition to go against the other party.
And my feeling is that the initial support we saw for him from Rahul Gandhi and other Congress leaders was primarily probably because he's affiliated to the party, so they had to somehow kind of show him support. At the ground level in Uttarakhand, the effort is to basically isolate Muslims and make their businesses fail and keep them under the kind of threat or kind of persistent threat that you might be evicted, you might be forced to
Hmm.
close your business and leave and things like that. It has happened quite a few incidents in different parts of Uttarakhand. From the state side or the judiciary side, the message is that uh, well, it will not be taken kindly if you are willing to
Hmm.
speak up and resist such efforts.
Yeah.
Now, for in one of the most recent videos, actually, Deepak says that his life has turned topsy-turvy totally. His
Upside
life
down.
is
Yeah.
totally kind of destroyed as it used to be before 26th of January. His business is gone, his family feels threatened, and he has basically he's doesn't know how to fight it out in the long run, the legal battle. So this is the consequence, and there is a message in that also, that you will face this consequence if you are willing to resist anything like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, it is a message delivered from the highest of authorities that you stand up for this, or anything for that matter, that is against, especially that has political connotations to it, or that causes public unrest, then you're on your own. You're not going to get much support. That sounds like what's happening in this case. I want to switch to Uttarakhand. It's so beautiful,
it is
right?
it's in the foothills of part of it is in the Himalayas.
Wow,
So it's obviously has beauty of the Himalayas.
beautiful.
It
Wow.
Some of the most famous Hindu pilgrimage centers are in Uttarakhand. So
Okay,
yes,
like what? What are
it's
the most famous ones?
like
Kedarnath?
Kedarnath, Badrinath. These
Yeah.
are the in the mountains, and then down in the plains we have Haridwar, Rishikesh, which are also uh, big tourist centers for
Mm.
religious tourism. Yeah,
Well, look at that. It's right up on the top. If
yeah,
anybody is unfamiliar with India's map and where Uttarakhand is, it's right there up there. Again, beautiful place. Oh my God. I mean, every picture is just mind blowing, you know. But this is not what Uttarakhand is being known for, at least from a world stage perspective. The more news I read from international news channels, right? Again, you can always say mainstream media is biased and all that, but when it comes to Indian politics, I think there's no reason for them to be biased because they're not affiliated to any party. So I tend more to see, okay, what is the world saying about
mm,
India or Uttarakhand? And I didn't know about this. There's an organization called India Hate Lab. Okay, and this is a Washington-based
okay,
organization. I think you in India are not allowed to use this. I don't even know if it pulls up. IndiaHateLab.com is banned in India, is what I read.
yeah.
And that's
The
because they're
fact
saying
that
they're biased. They're saying it's biased, right? It's against the ruling party and things like that. Who knows? I don't want to comment on that, but I was surprised and bewildered by the numbers that are coming out. Uh, and I didn't realize that Uttarakhand is on top of the list. This site tracks hate speech events in India. 1,318 cases of verified hate speech events in 2025. Okay.
only one
Uh,
year.
yeah, this was just last year, 1,300. And that was a 13% increase from 2024, which was 97. And then 2020, and a 97% increase from 2023. So they have been tracking only, India Hate Lab has been tracking this only since 2023.
Okay.
And so we only have this 3.5 years of data, but they are basically saying the hate speech events in India are on a rise. Um, and the primary targets for this, 98% of speeches target Muslims, 1,289 instances, while 12% target Christians. And this is all what they're reporting. Uh, and
Uttarakhand was on the top.
Uttarakhand's chief minister, what's his name? Um,
Pushkar Singh Dhamiji.
he is on top. Sorry, that's what I meant. He's
Okay,
on top.
okay,
When they track the number of the people who are inciting hate, verified hate, they're saying in their speeches, in rallies, he's got the he's got the top number.
okay.
Yeah, he keeps the record high. So, I mean, living in Uttarakhand, how does it? Do you see that? Do you hear that? I mean,
You are talking about only hate speeches, but along with that goes a lot of these smaller incidents, which are like used for as flashpoints for hate speeches.
yeah,
So something small happens, and then the political leaders then take on the opportunity to basically kind of talk more about Muslims and how they're damaging the society, how they need to be taught a lesson and how they need to be evicted and things like that. So that's what is basically showing in the data as you are presenting from the India
yeah.
Hate Lab report. So yes, we see it on a daily basis here, and if you look at the newspaper, for example, there are every day there is some kind of speech by the political leaders or religious leaders who are particularly kind of attacking Muslims in their speeches, whatever the occasion may be. So
Mhm.
that's true on the ground. Of course,
I
I
mean, this
don't
doesn't
have it.
look good. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
Yeah,
look good for India, right? Whether. this has bias or not, again, we don't know, right? We don't know what motivates certain groups, but this seems to be, again, I want to talk about how they do the verification of this, but this seems to be what the world is reporting out, and it's not a good look for India. And look at the parties that we talked about, the parties, the Bajrang Dal, I think 138 events. Vishwa Hindu
Viswa
Parishad.
Hindu Paris.
Oh, that's also Bajrang Dal, right? So basically,
It's
that is the Bajrang
affiliated
Dal.
to
Yeah,
no, it's another organization, a Hindu right wing
yeah,
organization affiliated to the BJP.
yeah. And they are the ones who are, as we talked about in the earlier segment about Kotwar, and Deepak's issue. I think those are the people who are mobilizing against him, right? Or shop owners.
Yeah,
Pushkar
yeah.
Singh Dhami, Chief Minister of Uttarakhand State, top 71 8 speeches
Mhm.
just in 2025, right? And then you have this whole list of people. Again, this is what they're reporting. Yeah, I mean it's just yeah, it's just not like India again under the current government over the past 9+ years, I think, right? Um, India is looking good in every other aspect on the world stage, right? I don't think we can deny that.
Hmm.
But then this skews that, right? And that's what's sad about it for somebody who lives outside of India. Just to see this, I don't like it.
It
Yeah,
can have consequences for the country also, because if the internal social fabric is not stable,
yeah,
if you such things keep happening and people feel that it's not safe to invest in India because of these factors, then
yeah.
India is going to lose a lot of business.
So I wondered, okay, how do they verify this, right? So they look at different aspects. It's called a rabbit plan of action, and this was based on method that came out of Rabat, the capital city of Morocco, um, that they define it based on context, speaker's position, intent to incite, content and form of statement, extent to its
Hmm.
how it's disseminated, likelihood of harm. So this is not something that they just kind of come up with a number. And we talk about bias in this reporting, but they do follow a process called the Rabbit Plan of Action and a six-part threshold um, before it is considered an event that is that causes hate or spews hate. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up. Uh, but where does this leave us, Kanti? Like, again, you live in that state. You have to live amongst these events, right? You are in the midst and thick and thin of it, in a way. How you see it and how I see it, how it impacts you versus how it impacts me, totally different, right?
Well, much as we talked about this happening quite regularly in the state, um, there have been lot number of incidents like this in different towns of Uttarakhand. But if you go to, actually on the ground, um, local people really they don't care about this issue whatsoever.
Really.
You may you may look at it as indifference. You may look at it as apathy. But the fact is that people, both communities, multiple faiths, they have lived here for decades, a longer period than we can imagine. They have lived together in peace. And when it comes to day to day life and day to day interaction with people from a different community and faith, they don't care. They just say, okay, this is not an issue for us. Most of them would say that. What happens on the other end is that the TV media, the social media outrage dies in a few days. TV media outrage and discussion dies in a few days. They move on to the next big thing. And at one level, I said that local people don't care, but at the same time, people at the center of the incident or the issue, their life is affected in the long run. So this is how we live in today's social media saturated world. So this
Hmm.
is how it is.
So basically, what I'm hearing is we just move on. Um, we talk about it. We write about it. We post about it. Um, but then we just move on with our lives, while people like Deepak and the shop owner fight their own battles, right? Because they are against a larger institution that is that is fighting against them, right?
Mm,
Um,
exactly.
who's right, who's wrong? At the end of the day, it's what the court decides. But
And that may be a long time coming.
yeah, and that's where I'm going. I mean, the court will decide, and courts take time. What I am bothered about, and what I do not agree with, is the fact that people who fight against or fight for their beliefs, let's just forget against, for their beliefs. If a mob comes at your door or your friend's door or your or neighbor's door, and then you want to, if you want to interfere to protect your neighbor, protect your friend, um, that's what I think Deepak did on January 26th. There's no case against him from January 26th. I think what case has been filed against him is on January 30th or 31st, right? Maybe things got out of hand on that day. But on January 26th, when he stood up to protect the rights of a old man who runs a shop, who's been running a shop to sell school children uniforms for decades, who's always been there, who's part of that community, who's always been part of that community, although minority community. That's fundamentally what I would have done too. Now, would I have the guts like Deepak? I don't know. But I would have protected my friend or my neighbor if somebody came out their door. There have been incidents in the past in my life where I've seen this at my door, which I won't get into. But but neighbors are there for a reason. Like neighborhoods are there for a reason, and it is not. You don't create neighborhoods based on creed, caste, or religion, or color of your skin or anything. At least not in India. Not the India that I grew up in, right? Especially in the part of India that I grew up
Mm,
in. We still live as a community of different faiths and beliefs, but we all live in harmony. Right?
mm,
That's secular India for you, right? It's a different situation right now. Part of it is the ramifications online
mm.
that can quickly spiral out of control, and the narrative that comes from it is not something that might be true, right? So better be safe than sorry is kind of the motto
Which
in people's minds.
that's right, and you have nailed the point in the sense. It is sad that basically whenever somebody is has the guts to speak up, he or she doesn't get the support uh, they should get, whether from their families, their friends, and society at large. Forget about the kind of state and judiciary, uh, which says casts a very sad shadow on how things are
Yeah,
going. But then it only takes one person to actually speak up, and that hopefully kind of influences others to be also
yeah,
kind of stand up for what is right and
yeah.
protest what.
That's a good
So
point. Yeah, young people might hold the key here, right? And maybe we leave this episode with that note. I think the younger generation, maybe if they are listening to this, maybe our takeaways for them: fight for what you believe in, and maybe change the status quo, where more younger people come into politics, more younger people are protesting these things. They pretty much own the keys to social media in many ways. They can change the rhetoric very easily.
the dynamic here is a bit different because one factor which works in favor of the younger, uh, because of which they are more willing to kind of probably speak up, is that they don't have the historical baggage. And often what happens is the people who want to create this wedge between communities, they are always falling back on the historical narratives of how they have done harm to us, how they have created problems for us. So let's outcast them, let's remove them. These kind of narratives, they normally are based on what is seen as historical wrong that has been done to us. Now, the young don't have that historical baggage, so they are more likely to kind of take it as kind of as it happens on the face value, and they're likely to kind of speak their mind because of that. So, having said that, that doesn't mean that we people, our our generation, doesn't have any
It's a double-edged
responsibility.
sword. I think it's
Yeah,
double-edged because
yeah.
you give context, then it becomes a bias, right?
Hmm.
How do you remove bias from the context setting?
Yeah.
So I still think the responsibility lies with them to learn history, take it with a grain of salt.
Mm.
History is complex and convoluted. History from different lenses look is seen differently,
They
right? Any issue for that matter.
absolutely. They have different perspectives, and if you look at things from different perspectives, they will look different.
I completely agree. Yeah, again, that's what the Sunday draft is all about. So I hope everybody enjoyed this episode, listening to our conversation. I learned a lot from it. So I just want to thank you, Kanti, for bringing this topic front and center, at least for me, because I had no idea. Like, people living outside of India, I think we live in a different bubble where we don't really see anything relevant, because we are so attached to what's happening from the on the world stage that we
Yeah,
tend to ignore what happens on the local stage. But thank you for
and
bringing
thanks,
this topic.
thanks to you for also sharing that report from the India Hit Lab, because it shows basically, um, to me, it was an eye opener in the sense that uh, that what we kind of see locally is actually reflected in data as well.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
some of those data points I was not aware of, so it's an eye
You can't
opener
even
for
access
me
it.
as well.
I don't think you can access it at all, because it's banned
And
in
thanks for
India, I
bringing.
think. So, uh, I mean, all that means is India, again, as Indians, we have to be worried about not only our growth, and how we look good in the on the world stage, and also what are the issues being brought out. Um, so we need to be aware of it. The fact that we have lived for centuries in a diverse landscape, and people who follow multiple faiths and religions, and having friends from all those is what's unique about us. My India, in a way, that's what I hold dear.
And I would say that that's secular bias, and we are empowered and allowed to have that bias. The
Mm,
Constitution gives us that kind of power.
yeah,
So this is a bias we should have, and we should be proud of it.
yeah. And as far as Deepak is concerned, I wish him the best, and his family, because all I see online being reported is how he's suffering. He's left alone, and I hope that stops. Right, his mother, his wife and daughter. I hope they all get safety and continue to live their lives, while Deepak continues to battle this issue. Right, that's his choice.
Hmm.
But leave his family out of it, because who knows how long this is going to take.
Hmm.
This issue will fade away very soon. It's already fading away. Nobody is talking about it much. Um, it's been only 3 months and it's already fading away. So I think we just we'll see what happens.
Yes.
With that, I think we are done. It's a wrap. Sunday
Yeah.
Draft episode 2 is wrap.
Okay.
Thanks
Bye bye.
everybody for joining. Yeah.
Thanks everyone. Bye bye.